Say you sell running shoes. Well, you don't really sell running shoes. You sell a solution to pain-free running. Your running shoes allow people to run twice as long. Do you see what I mean?
Hey guys, welcome back to the follow-up to my last video where I reacted to the top videos on YouTube about how to sell. Today I'm doing something slightly different. I'm reacting to the top selling tips on TikTok. So if you want to check out my last video, you can click the link in the description or hit the card right here and check out that video. Otherwise, I'm going to get into these TikToks. Subscribe to this channel if you like this video, hit the thumbs up, because that really does tell me, like, I watch the thumbs up, I watch every single comment, I watch my subscribers, so that tells me that you want more of this content, and it also gives me a feeling of self-worth that I'm missing.
If you have a shop and no one is buying any of your stuff, it's because of these three things. Take notes. Number one, you're not marketing yourself properly. You need to be talking about your products several times. Every other lifestyle brand, every clothing brand in existence talks about their products more than once. Usually it's like 10 times. Take different photos. Talk about the benefits of the product. Talk about the process of the product. Talk about the meaning of the design in the product. Number two, your audience isn't big enough yet, boo. You only got a couple hundred followers. That's not a very good number. Less than 3% of your audience is going to buy your stuff. So the less followers you have, the less likely you are to sell anything that's sustainably enough to live off of. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to put yourself out there. Just be realistic with your expenses. Put more time into growing a following first by promoting things for free without anything promotional. And number three, your work isn't relatable enough. No one gets it. You have to be triggering something called an impulse buy. It's the thing where they're like, whoa, that's so cool, need to have. Your work has to be more than pretty sometimes. It has to have meaning. If you have a...
Okay, 3 selling tips relevant mostly to e-commerce. From my experience selling in e-commerce, I did create an e-commerce brand and sold exclusively online and went through a lot of the steps that she is talking about. And although she is being very animated in the way she describes all this stuff, very TikTok trendy, the underlying messages about less than 3% of your audience converting and needing to send messaging in different ways multiple times about your product, the benefits of the product, and engage, tell the story, tell the history of your company, talk about yourself, talk about why you created the product, everything about all that stuff, all these examples that she even gave, talk about the design of the product. I experienced every single one of these things that she's describing. So I don't have a single thing to disagree with these selling tips if you're in the lane of e-commerce or selling online. Fully agree. A little bit different from a tech sales perspective. It's not quite exactly that way, and generally she's talking about marketing, not selling. So it depends on, you know, what you consider selling per se, but still all super relevant stuff, and I would absolutely co-sign this message.
Here's how to know what's selling well on Etsy. First, go to Etsy.com and find a product that you're interested in analyzing. In this case, it's marble coasters. Click on a product listing, go up to the top right-hand side, click on reviews. And what we see here in the review section is that there's a total of 648 reviews for the total shop on Etsy. And of those 648 reviews, 117 were for this specific product. That's about 18%. So 18% of reviews are for this product specifically out of the entire store, which means, if we scroll back up, that 18% of the sales are probably for this product. So if we multiply the total number of sales by 18%, we get 644 sales. That's about how many sales this product specifically makes. And that shows us the demand. And what we can do is, if there's good demand, which in my opinion, this is good demand, we go to Amazon and we say, okay, there's no good options on Amazon, yet there's this really great option on Etsy. We can make a similar type of product to this on Etsy, bring it to the Amazon platform, and make money. Here's how.
That's probably true. This is very almost like drop shipping e-commerce level tips. Like, I've done Amazon selling before, but again, it was for my own proprietary product. It wasn't for someone else's. So, or doing the Alibaba drop shipping thing. So I don't have so much to say on this, but again, these are 2 in a row that's like e-commerce tips, but not actually sales tips.
This is the secret to sound like an expert, even if you don't know anything on the subject matter. Master these 2 concepts, tonality and enthusiasm. When I talk like this, do you believe what I'm saying? Obviously not. The way you say things matters. This is the secret to sound like an expert, even if you don't know anything on the subject matter. Master these two concepts, tonality and enthusiasm. When I talk like...
This is the top hit on sales tips, first of all. Like on the surface level, his tip seems like it's helpful because it's telling you to do essentially something different, something slightly contrarian. Like you're naturally, when you're talking in an like insecure way or where you don't know what you're talking about, you do sound like it. And that's a natural, normal thing. He's suggesting that you sort of fake confidence in your voice and the way that you talk. What I would add to that, or what I would actually just say instead, is just to get so darn knowledgeable about the product that you're selling. Just know it in and out. Like learn it. Take the time to learn it. Talk to a ton of customers. Talk to existing customers. Find out why people didn't buy. Find out why when they bought, what they do with the product and why they care about it. And all of that knowledge is what helps you build up your confidence so you can speak to the product, answer questions all with confidence and enthusiasm, because you've seen so many people time after time after time benefit from buying the thing that you're selling. That's where the tonality and the enthusiasm and confidence comes from, not from pretending. So although he's right, his point is right that people can sense that, I would just say it's okay if you're just getting into sales, you don't sound confident all the time. Like it will come naturally. You won't forever sound like insecure in the product you're selling. My first job selling leather jackets, I was a nervous wreck talking to these people. And I think in some way that can be charming to some folks. Like they get it. It's actually very, very relatable. So wherever you are in your sales journey, use the honest reality of it as part of your sales prospect. If you are super insecure, you can actually be upfront and just say, hey, look, I'm really new to this. If you have questions and I don't know the answers to them, I will get you answers, but just to let you know, this is my first day. So, and then you're actually inviting them into your story a little bit rather than pretending that you know something you don't know.
I swear I'm gonna break this door. You ever see that thing in vampire movies where they're not allowed in a dwelling until someone invites them in? So vampires don't need to be invited into public places like bars and stuff, but they definitely have to be invited into individual places like someone's house or something like that. So what? If you're in sales, this can have huge consequences if you think about the sales process. Calling someone back can be a real bother, and if you're not invited back in, you're just gonna seem like you're bugging them. So you can use this technique to get yourself invited back in, and it seems to work pretty well. So just ask the prospect, if I don't hear from you by this same time next Wednesday, is it okay for me to give you a call back?
Okay, so that's an interesting prospecting tip. I actually do something very similar to this in my emails. I usually just let people know if I don't hear back that I'll check in with them in a certain time frame. And this can go two ways. It's almost like a good way to measure their level of interest. Someone who's not all that interested in buying your product is going to see that as either an annoyance or that you're like hunting them down, and they're going to take it as sort of like, whoa, you know what I mean? And then when you continue to follow up and hound them, someone who's actually interested in buying, but it's a complex purchase, like usually in software sales, the person who's actually genuinely interested in buying finds that wildly helpful, knowing that the ball is not going to be dropped, that there's someone who's like quarterbacking the sale that's going to make sure that all the ducks are in a row in the right time frame so that they can get the software they need to then do their job properly. I always make sure that I stay on top of it and I listen to what they tell me. If they're telling me, hey, look, like, don't follow up with me in 2 weeks, then to me that's just saying, depending on the reason why they don't want me to follow up, it's saying, hey, this may not be the deal that you spend most of your time on, right? And then versus the person who says, yeah, thank you so much, I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. If you don't hear back, feel free to follow up. Like they almost invite in that conversation, that follow-up. Then I know this is someone who is actually a champion that really does want to purchase. The complexity of software sales, there can be many, many, many barriers that aren't directly the objection of the person you're talking to. So yeah, I agree with him on this. it's a good habit to let people know the time frame that you expect to hear back from them and to just communicate that you will be following up.
I have a random sales tip for you. Say I used to be a salesman selling tools, and my dad gave me a piece of advice that was the best sales advice I ever got. So if you're a salesperson or work a commission-based job, this is something you should think about. Do not compare your product with anybody else's unless prompted to do so. If your sales pitch is based around the concept of, well, our product is better than that product because, you are highlighting the wrong product. You see, my dad owned a construction company. He was looking to buy one of these, an all-terrain forklift. He went to 3 different dealerships looking at other brands to buy one from, but they all kept comparing to this brand, the Lull. At the end of it, he kept saying to himself, well, yeah, okay, maybe 1 or 2 features and these different ones are better, but they all compared to that one product. So guess what he did? He went and bought 2 Lulls. This is almost 30 years ago, but the things were almost $100,000. Had those salespeople just started out by only listing the features and benefits of their product, not comparing, they might have gotten the sale. But they had to do comparisons. They highlighted another product. If somebody asks for comparison, you can go into it, but don't start that way. Sell.
Okay, so this is a very relevant topic, not selling and talking about your competitors too much. I have definitely fallen victim to doing this before, and waiting until the other person brings up competition is very important in software sales as well as in other sales. A lot of times folks just come in, they're not shopping across all the different competitors, they just need guidance, and whoever provides them guidance is going to get the sale. So if you have that person and you mention a competitor to them, now they've started to think, oh, there's actually an option here that I didn't consider. At best, you're extending the sales cycle. So at best, they then have to go do their due diligence at the other company and then still decide to come back to you and purchase from you. But you could have skipped that entire process, and depending on how long that takes, it could be impactful on your quota. Oftentimes a little bit later in the sales cycle, I'll ask, are you evaluating any other tools for this project or for whatever thing that problem they're trying to solve? And if they say yes, then I ask them, like, it's fine, and I encourage it for them to go do it, and I just ask them, all right, what is the evaluation criteria that you're using? So is there a spreadsheet that you're using? Is there check boxes to see who checks all the boxes first? And then I also ask, what time frame are you going to make a decision in? Like, what is your deadline here? So that way I can make sure that I'm always included in the conversation and that they know that they can come to me with honest feedback, even if they don't choose us, that they can tell me why. So I'm sort of like setting that up so that I can get that detail, which will help me sell to other folks. But then also it tells me the exact checkboxes. Like, I demand that evaluation criteria because they logically know that they need that, and they're deciding to buy something on some sort of important factors. So it helps them organize, it helps the person I'm selling to organize their thoughts. And then once they give me the evaluation criteria, it actually gives me an advantage because I can go and like match up all the evaluation criteria. And selling complex software, that can take a few days to like, can we do this? Can we do that? How would we do each thing? And then I can like literally deliver on a silver platter all the answers to their evaluation, hopefully, if I'm selling a good product, and hopefully rise to the top of that list so that in some way their evaluation criteria feels like they're doing due diligence, but they've already kind of decided to buy from me. So that's how I handle not talking about competition. I know that was like a mouthful, but this guy just inspired that thought. So I wanted to share it with you.
Remember this, because it's the best marketing advice I can give anybody. This will make or break your business, whether you sell products online, you're a coach, you sell courses, digital services, whether you're a restaurant, whatever, it doesn't matter. Same rule goes for everybody. You don't sell products, you sell solutions. You are a problem solver. People don't buy products, they buy solutions to their problems. Say you sell running shoes. Well, you don't really sell running shoes. You sell a solution to pain-free running. Your running shoes allow people to run twice as long. Do you see what I mean? That's a solution. People aren't buying the shoes. They want the shoes to do something for them. What's the benefit of that product? So just remember, your product is always a solution to a problem. And the only way people can fix that problem is by buying your product. Your product is like the savior. So craft your marketing message around solving problems. Remember.
All right. So this is a great reminder to all salespeople. she's right. I know it sounds a little cheesy to be like, you're not selling a product, you're selling a solution. But once you get to the brass tacks of it, she is right. People are shopping for something because they're trying to solve for a problem. And in her example of running shoes, getting new running shoes that allows you to run twice as far means that you can now be however much more fit. Your body fat percentage goes down. You're able to actually achieve that marathon that you wanted to run. It means so much more to a person than just a pair of shoes. And so getting at that story and talking to your previous customers to get those stories to then relay them to your future customers is super important. So let's wrap it here. Thank you guys for checking this video out. Subscribe to the channel and let me know if you want more videos like this one. See ya.